Hello! This video is going to be broken into multiple parts. The first part is going to focus on how to connect to the Pierce 402 computer lab using the Citrix receiver. Next, once connected, I'm going to show you the Unity hub and how to create your first Unity project and scene. Then I'm going to show you how to build your Unity project into an executable, and finally, how to submit projects that you completed to the K drive. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're on your personal computer at home, it would be very helpful to be able to connect to the computers at school to be able to access your materials. So to get started, let's go ahead and open up your web browser. And the website we're going to go to is desktops.cst.cmish.edu. This is going to bring you to the page for the Citrix receiver. Go ahead and try to detect the receiver if you have it installed on your computer. I personally do. If you do not have the Citrix receiver installed, go ahead and press the I agree with this license and please view it, and then download it. Once you have installed the application, go ahead and come back to this page, desktops.cst.cmish.edu, and then this menu up here should pop up, the Open Citrix Receiver Launcher. Go ahead and select that option. It's going to prompt you to log in with a username and password. This is going to be your CMIsh global ID and password. So go ahead and log on. This will bring you to the storefront of the Citrix page. From here at the top we have three buttons. Go ahead and select Desktops. From here, go ahead and select PLAB Pierce 402 and then open the Citrix Receiver Launcher. Okay, here we are on the Pierce 402 Computer Lab desktop. So to get started, let's go ahead and open up the Unity hub. So click the Start icon in the lower left-hand corner of your screen and search by typing Unity, and you'll want to select the Unity hub. So the Unity hub is a specialized tool developed by Unity that allows you to quickly access a list of the projects that you have created, as well as manage any version of Unity that you would like to install. This makes it really easy to switch between different projects which may have different versions of Unity, which was significantly more difficult in previous versions of the application. So to get started here, this is one of the first bugs that you may run into. It looks like we have no Unity version or no Unity installed. Up here on the left-hand side of our screen, we have the Projects tab. We also don't have any projects here, so you can toggle between projects and installs. So Unity is installed on these computers. To be able to get it to show up, go ahead and press the Windows key, and we're going to go ahead and search for Unity. And then this time, actually go ahead and select the Unity application as shown here. And when you do that, it's going to try to launch Unity, but it's going to capture it within the Unity hub so that the installation is going to show up inside of here. For example, if we go back to the installs, we'll now see that we have Unity version 2019.2.9 F1. If you are at home on your personal machine and you would like to install Unity, because you may experience a delay depending on your internet connection when connecting to the remote desktop Pierce 402 Computer Lab using Unity. Sometimes it's better to be able to use it on your personal machine. What you can do for that is go ahead and open up a web browser, and on the internet you're going to want to search for the Unity hub. It should be the first link that pops up, the unity3d.com website. On here, you're going to want to select Download Unity Hub. That is going to download an executable file. Now, because I am on these school machines, I'm not going to be able to install this application as it is already installed in these computers. But you will simply walk through the installation process, which will have you agree to the license of Unity Hub and prompt you for an installation location for Unity Hub. Walk through those steps. After it is installed successfully, go ahead and launch the application, and then you'll be able to follow along. Now, what's really nice about the Pierce 402 remote desktop connection is the ability to work with the K drive. So let's talk about that briefly here. If you open up the File Explorer in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, what you'll see here is you'll see a mapping of all of the drives you have available to you. What's really nice is we have access to the C drive, which is the computer that I am currently on. So this is your personal machine at home. And then we also have access to the K drive in your own personal U drive. So it is important to note, I am on the remote desktop connection at the moment, and I'm able to transfer files between the computer that I'm on to the K drive. So for example, if you are on a personal computer at your house and you connect to the Pierce 402 Computer Lab using the steps previously in this video by visiting desktops.cst.cmich.edu, you will be able to transfer files between your computer and the K drive. And I'm going to show an example of that later in the video. So continuing on here, let's go ahead and close this down, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the Unity Hub. So we have this installed version here. Let's go ahead and select the projects on the left-hand side of your screen, and we're going to go ahead and add a new project. If you have multiple versions of Unity installed, you'll be able to select a different version of Unity from the drop-down menu here. As we only have one installed, we can select this one. When you select that drop-down, it's going to prompt you for a project template. For this video, we're going to be selecting the 2D template. Two important pieces of information are the project name and the project save location. We'll call this My First Project. We'll save it to a location. You can either save it to your local computer or you can save it to the K drive. Let's go ahead and actually save this to the K drive. So if we select the location, again, if you have access to the K drive, you can save it there or you can save it on your personal machine. For the purposes of this video, where you decide to store it is not as important. I'm going to go ahead and go to this PC, select the K drive, courses, and then the semester that we want. So I'm going to do the 2020 spring semester, the course, and you're going to go inside of your section folder. Inside here, you're going to have a list of global IDs. You're going to go to your global ID, and that's the folder where you can put all of the stuff, all of your Unity projects you'll be submitting to the K drive. I'm going to go back to my global materials folder here, and I'm going to go ahead and select this as the folder that I would like to put my first project in, and then let's go ahead and select create. Now this is going to take a moment to go ahead and initialize the project template and set Unity up in a way that is going to be very helpful for 2D game development. Now Unity is a game engine at its core, but Unity is much more than that in the sense that you can create beautiful animations, art, videos, and of course games inside of Unity. In our CPS 282 course at Central Michigan University, we provide an introduction to multimedia design where you learn the basics of 2D development inside of Unity. After that, we have CPS 382, our advanced multimedia design course. In CPS 382, you'll take a look at the 3D side of Unity, as well as get an exposure to different 3D modeling applications so that you can build very complex projects using a wide variety of tools. And then, if you are really interested in continuing on with Unity, we do have an ITC 383 course, which is our computer game development course. And this course really gets into the meat and potatoes of Unity. You learn all about the different aspects of lighting, scripting, object-oriented scripting, audio management, game object management, and as such. As well as you get to learn a theoretical approach to game development from the initial pre-planning process, what the different team roles are, all the way up to deployment and development and testing. So, if you are interested in those type of things, definitely reach out to your advisor and ask your questions about those three courses again: CPS 282, CPS 382, and ITC 383. Alright, so we have Unity opened up here, and this is the default Unity screen. And in this video, we're going to try and keep it a little bit shorter. We've created our first project. Now we'd like to create our first scene. Now there are a lot of windows and stuff to take a look at here, and we're going to do that in some upcoming videos. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're only going to take a look at how to create a scene inside of Unity. So let's go ahead and close down this Unity Editor update check. Now what we're looking at right now, this darker gray box in the center, this is our scene view. These are called different tabs. We have Scene, Game, and Asset Store. At the moment, we're not going to do anything with those. The scene view, though, I will tell you, is where we're going to be developing the content. It's where everything is going to come together for our final performance or our final project. Now, if we take a look over in the left-hand side of our screen, we have a tab called Hierarchy. Now, the hierarchy is responsible for showing a list of all the game objects inside of our current scene. You see here in bolder text the word sample scene. This is the name of the current scene that we are in. We're going to go ahead and create a new scene. So we'll select File, New Scene. You'll notice the name changed to Untitled. Let's go ahead and save the scene. File, Save As. This is going to save as a .unity file. We'll call this Scene 1. Go ahead and let's navigate into the Scenes folder and then go ahead and press Save. Nothing really changed, except we see that this is now called Scene 1. Inside of our Scenes folder, we have that original sample scene that always comes when you open up a new project, as well as Scene 1. You can create as many scenes as you would like. Again, we have File, New Scene. Now we're back in the Untitled. File, Save As, and let's call this Scene 2. And you'll notice we didn't select a folder for that one, so that one's actually going to be out here. Let's go ahead and click, hold, and we can drag that into the scenes folder. So now we have those two scenes that we created right there. Alright, so in some upcoming tutorials, we're going to actually put some content into these scenes. Right now, there's absolutely nothing inside them. The purpose is just to show you how to set up the project and how to create a scene. Let me show you how to build the project now. We have two scenes that we created, and they're going to be filled with content at some point. But for right now, when you are first learning about building, let's just build a blank project. It's the simplest that we can do. We're going to go up to the File menu, and we're not going to select Build and Run. We're going to select Build Settings. So your Build Settings is this window that's going to show you all of the different properties that you can select when you are building your project. Now, the very top of the window says Scenes and Build, and currently the sample scene is in there. That's because that was the default scene that came with Unity when we created this project. However, we're going to go ahead and remove that. So right-click on Sample Scene and remove Selection. Now, the very first thing that is in this Scenes in Build is going to be the first scene that is launched when your project is built and the user double-clicks on the executable file. So this would be like, for example, a main menu. That would be the first thing that you'd want the user to go to. You wouldn't want to put your game or animation as the very first thing that they go to. So in that case, we're going to go ahead and drag our scenes, Scene 1, Scene 2, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and leave this as the PC Mac Atlantic standalone. And we'll go ahead and also leave all of the default settings for Unity. Now, let's go ahead and select the Build button. This is going to bring up a file explorer that's going to prompt you for a location to store your build. We are currently in My First Project folder. So Unity, when you create a new project, is going to create the Assets folder, which stores all of the game objects and items that you'll be using in your project, as well as these 5 other folders, project settings, libraries, that are Unity-specific folders that every project is going to have, and we're not going to talk about them in this video. So we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this Build. So we refer to a project as being built when we go through the building process and the project is converted into an executable that we can run. So with the new build folder, let's go ahead and select that folder. And after you do that, it's going to go ahead and start the build process. So the build process we'll go ahead and build all of the necessary requirements to build that into an executable file, which you can then double-click on and distribute to your users. And we'll talk about which files are required to be packaged up when you want to go to distribute your application to the public. Because this is a small project with nothing in it, it should just take one more second here to finish. We see it post-processing player, and we should be all set. Perfect. Alright, so here we are in the build folder that we just created when we built our project. Now, we're going to want to hand, essentially, the contents of this folder to your end user. This contains the .exe, our executable Windows file. It also contains the data for the project. You definitely need to have the data for the project. The executable is just going to launch the application, but it's pulling the data from that folder. So when you go to submit something, and we'll walk through the steps here in just a moment, just be sure that you submit all of this stuff. I'm going to just show you quickly when you launch this. You'll double click on, for example, my first project.exe, and that's going to launch it. We can see made by Unity. It's just a blue screen because there's nothing in it right now. Well, we need to get out of this, so on your keyboard press the Windows key and search for Task Manager, and then go ahead and select the name of your project, my first project, and end that task. Perfect. Go ahead and close that out. Now, finally, let's talk about submitting this project to the K drive. So we've gone ahead, we've built it, we have all of this good stuff. We're going to go ahead and go back up a level, up a level. So now you see this My First Project. So this is the entire folder that has the entire project as well as the build folder inside of it. So this is what you're going to want to submit to your instructor. Go ahead and Control-C to copy, or right-click and copy. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into the K drive. So if you're on the remote desktop for Pierce 402, start at this PC, K drive, Courses. Select the semester that you're in. So for example, I'll choose a previous semester. Select the class, and then select your folder inside of the section number, and then go ahead and Control-V to paste this, and it will go ahead and paste this, and this is going to be dependent upon your internet connection speed and all that. The larger the projects, the longer it will take to complete. Once this has been completed, it's strongly recommended that you go into the K drive and run your build and also open up your project. Instructors well, instructors want the project to be able to actually work on their computer, and they'll be testing it on the configuration of these lab machines. So just double check it before you submit it, just for that one final check. I wanted to provide you with a little bit more information about the best practices when it comes to developing your Unity projects. I strongly recommend that when you are working on your Unity projects, you bring them off of the K drive or whatever storage device you're using onto the lab machines. This is going to allow Unity to work at its full potential, as it minimizes the amount of latency needed for Unity to perform its read and write operations. Essentially, Unity is going to work the best when it's on your local machine. Now, at the end of the day, when you're done working on your Unity projects, I would encourage you to go ahead and copy them to the K drive for storage. And then I would also encourage you to copy them onto a secondary device, such as a flash drive or other drive that you have, such as your U drive. It's just very important to make sure to back up your project in more than one location, as there may be an incident where the K drive accidentally gets wiped and then you lose your project. You can't rely on the computer labs in the actual labs to maintain your data, as the system administrator may flash the computers with new images and your data may be lost. So please keep them backed up on both the K drive as well as either your personal computer or a separate external drive, just to make sure you don't lose them, especially when it comes time to turn in your projects. And then when you are coming back the next day, go ahead and grab your project off of the K drive and copy it onto the local desktop for work. I believe that's everything that we're going to cover in this video. We covered a lot of good stuff: how to connect to the Pierce 402 computers remotely, how to create your first Unity project in Scene, how to build the project as an executable and run it, as well as where to submit this on the K drive. If you have any questions, please contact your instructor or leave a comment on this video, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. Thank you very much.